The Turnip Truck in East Nashville was all about the community. It was really exciting to work with the clients because they'd been engaged in the community and located in the community at 10th and Woodland Street for multiple years. They'd renovated an old building, an old grocery store building on the corner, and were there, and then the business was so successful they outgrew it over time and immediately looked at staying in East Nashville and decided they wanted to stay close to their site, mainly because they felt like they had loyal neighbors and they wanted to continue to support the neighborhood, but they also felt they could have a big impact on the redevelopment of sort of a relatively vacant part of Woodland Street, an area that's sort of in between. When we walked over to the site they were looking at, it was an abandoned sort of parking lot. It wasn't used. There was broken glass, cracked asphalt. And we started talking about how we could connect to the street, how we could relate to pedestrians. It was very important that people could walk to the site. We engaged with Hawkins Partners Landscape Architects from the very beginning because the site components were so important, how to let people feel welcome, how to sort of park enough cars but not too much parking, that we really wanted to feel like a pedestrian, friendly, supportive project. We talked early on about creating spaces that community groups could come and have classes, meetings. There's not a lot of places in the neighborhood where groups can meet other than, say, churches. And Studio 615 also plays or Center 615 plays a big part of that. But sort of adding into that piece of the neighborhood that this is a resource for neighbors. It's not just a retail business. I find myself going to the Turnip Truck a lot in East Nashville, and I run into friends and friends of my kids, or parents of my kids' friends, and they tell my daughter says, Michelle's always surprised that she sees you at the Turnip Truck, and I go, well, I love it, and it just stopping there, it's really fun to run in, grab something. It's nice to be in one of your own projects that feels so great. But the thing that's really exciting is that people that have shopped there for years, I'm constantly hearing, and the owners are constantly hearing, like, your vegetables are so much nicer, when they're really the same vegetables. That the project was really all about daylight. That we haven't really talked about sustainability, but that was a huge component of the project. And one of the things we've learned during sustainable projects over the years is it's really about daylight, daylight, and daylight. And I think that does so much to make the space feel good. And as a result, it's helped the store, I think, probably way outperform what they had projected in terms of numbers. That it's if you go there, there's a constant flow of people, and you never feel like you have to wait for a parking space, but at the same time, there's a constant turnover that it's so easy to come in, come out, but you also stop and talk to people. That I sensed a real community place. One of the cool things about this design was that there was a lot of flexibility built into it, with the idea of how can you serve the community. So there's a whole bridge on the upstairs part of the space, and the idea was that may become a place for wine, or it may be a place to have a gourmet sort of kitchen area that they could do cooking classes for members of the community. It could also be a place where any organization or neighborhood group in the community could have meetings. So John and Philip from the very beginning thought about how many different ways can we provide support to the community, but also we didn't want to do something that was like enclosed and fixed. We really wanted it to be flexible to meet community needs as they change over time. I love the passion that the clients have for their business and being part of the community and bringing fresh produce and organic ingredients to the residents of East Nashville. That for so long it was a food desert, and now it's like a food mecca. One of the sort of undercurrents in the design concept we came up with was grocery stores always have big walk-in coolers around them. And we couldn't really say this to MDHA, but part of the design was that half of the front of the building is almost designed to look like a walk-in cooler, and the other half is full of glass to let people see into the store, see what's going on inside, and to let daylight inside. So that idea of creating something that is designed based on what the idea of the use is, we thought was a lot of fun.